All right, guys, welcome back to another live show. We have some great guests today. We have Tommy Cooper and we have Jason Trost of Kriptovania TV. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic.
All right. All right. I'm glad you guys have you on the show. So let's just get right into the sweet business. What got you both into the subject of cryptids, and how did you guys start Kriptovania?
Hey, Tommy, you're really the one that dragged me into cryptids. You want to talk about your lifetime with cryptids?
Well, pretty much we started this thing in the wintertime about 3 years ago, and what we were doing is we're getting ready to come into our busy season, and we decided that we would start a Facebook group and a Roku group and all this kind of stuff, and we just decided to go for it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good stuff from what I've seen.
Thank you. We Kriptovania, we kind of center around both a Facebook group and a Roku streaming channel. And on the channel, it's kind of a unique thing in the cryptid world, in that it's kind of a who's who, or a Library of Congress of Bigfoot and paranormal. As we've gone on this journey and made more and more friends and connections and such, we've had more and more content producers give us access to a selection of their work, and that's the core of Kriptovania, is our peer generated archives, which contain lots and lots of people in there. We've got, I think Tony Merkel is playing live right now on our live stream, and the Facebook group is kind of unique in the cryptid and paranormal world, in that it's Bigfoot and paranormal oriented, but it's also got a geographic location that is embraced and has embraced it. And then also we kind of have a mythical location, Kriptovania. What is Kriptovania? And it's basically wherever we want to plant our flag, and wherever adventure brings us. And it's also our little corner in Northwest Pennsylvania here. So for us, Kriptovania is an information sharing movement.
Oh, that is great.
You know, the cool thing about Kriptovania is really it's a unique experience. There's nothing else that's quite like Kriptovania in any aspect. Something that we have is we have all these people who give us their content, and then we get to share it with the entire world.
Yeah, spreading that awareness, helping spread the awareness of all cryptids, not only Bigfoot. And I think it's great in helping the community of researchers come together in a way.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we feel we bring to the table is we embrace the entertainment factor of paranormal and Bigfoot and outdoor adventure and country living. We like to do research and stuff, but we also are entertained by all this. And we watch podcasts and we talk about podcasts and we record podcasts. And this is really what we like doing. And we think that there's a lot of people that like doing it too. And we're not afraid of the entertainment factor. And to us, that also makes things kind of freeing for us because we're not really bound by anything other than what we think is cool.
And
yeah, I mean,
you
you gotta have fun with it.
And whether it is that like someone has a show and they're doing a lot of talking, somebody's podcasting or whatever, or whether they're out showing the examples of what happens to them in the woods and stuff, it's really all good. It's great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we like watching it, and so we also like to share it too, and we like to make it too. We really enjoy making content, and we enjoy going back and forth with content producers like yourself, plying this craft, and it's nice. All of us have our day jobs and such, and we have this real art, really. We're all doing it because we want to, because we like doing it, and it's available to us. Suddenly you don't have to be wealthy or very connected to make yourself a TV show.
And there's nothing like this. The sound of like I know Mike Patterson, I know Philip Palmer, I know Hal Lane. I mean, I know all these people. It's so awesome to me to know these people, and I know them all professionally now, and it's because we have Kriptovania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like going to Major League Baseball games for us, and every time you get to, get an autograph at the dugout, that's what it is for us.
Yeah, it is. And, a lot of great researchers doing a lot of great stuff, producing a lot of great content and evidence to be reviewed. And I think a lot of people should watch their stuff and support them and you guys because we're in all of this together. And I don't think if, we don't support each other, we're not going to get anywhere. I don't want another 50 years to go by with no one to show anything good, right? So,
yeah. And one of the things about the events that are around us in everyday life, it seems like more and more people are looking for ways outside of mainstream media to enjoy themselves. And I think
Amen,
that not only do we have more content producers and more content producing tools that are easily accessible, but I think we have more and more audience that's ready to be entertained with stuff other than what Miramax and Hollywood puts out. That's really cool. We're seeing the confluence of that, and we feel that we're on the right side of that bubble.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like more and more people are gravitating towards the unknown and cryptids and things that they normally would not probably think about in the last 2 years because of everything that's happened. So it's a very interesting time period.
Everything's on the table.
Yeah, it is. So let's get into
it's so genuine too. Everything is so genuine. It's on our channel. It's everything is genuine. Everybody is really putting their life work into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you have to be passionate about it. I mean, I don't know any researcher who puts content out who's not passionate about it in some way or another. And it is kind of like, your lifeblood, and you're putting your work into it. And it's amazing stuff.
Yes. And it's cool. And as people doing things, it makes good hobbies and stuff too. It's really it's enjoyable. All these things that we have access to, like this Streamyard platform we're using. This is awesome. This is great. And the way I was able to mess with my lighting and check my mic levels before I ever even joined the room. this is cool. This is a good way to spend a night. And we meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, Streamyard's pretty streamlined and easy, and a nice way to communicate with your buddies, researchers, and have a show or record stuff. So it's nice that we have tools to bring the community and researchers together.
Has it been easy for you to use as a producer?
Yes, it does have its hiccups and bugs every once in a while, but for the most part, it's been a very nice platform to use. Yes. I definitely recommend it for its ease of use.
Okay, excellent. Because we've used Skype and Zoom for a lot of our stuff. I think I prefer Skype to Zoom, but as a guest, I've definitely have preferred the Streamyard. I've been pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, I like it over Zoom. For the most part.
That leaves me an opportunity to name drop Zoom. Our very first Zoom meeting, and the whole reason I bought this phone, my first phone actually, to do this was so that we could interview John McAfee. So we crammed and stressed to get to use Zoom for the first time, get me used to using a phone, and Tommy and I were on screen, and then all of a sudden it said, John McAfee has joined your meeting. And it was like, oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
That is.
And I did a horrible job. I was so starstruck. I got to be the idol. The coolest to me, the coolest guy that's ever walked the earth, and but to see it when it said down there on the bottom, John McAfee has joined your meeting, that was very surreal. And so I get to name drop a little there.
Yeah, but what the guy with a bunch of great stories actually. So
and it was really cool. I was able to ask him about some stuff about quantum stuff. And we got into some of the deep state stuff, and I felt like he really wasn't holding back at all, and he was smoking weed while he was talking to us, and talking to his wife, and he was in a Faraday cage to try and keep the CIA from tracking him, and it was like, wow. And then you're like, I wonder how many guys in the CIA are listening to me talk to John McAfee right now, and that was cool. And we got to do that because of, our Kriptovania thing. So in a lot of ways, it's been a vehicle for Tommy and I to meet cool people and have a good time. And sometimes blow it on when you get to interview your idol.
Right. I never thought I'd be doing this. When I was a kid reading Bigfoot books all those years ago, and here we are. It's great. I know a lot of people have say they always meet a lot of great friends and pals through the research and doing these podcasts and interviews, and it's just great. All the people you meet and all the stuff
in a lot of ways, it's kind of replaced like big game hunting from maybe the generation before ours. That would be like how you'd bond with people and such. And the same with like saving up so you can buy instead of maybe buying a Weatherby rifle, now you're buying a FLIR viewing device. But it's that kind of that same thing where it really wasn't about shooting a deer or shooting an elk or something. In a lot of ways, it's not always about finding Bigfoot. Because if it's only about finding Bigfoot, you're probably going to be disappointed in this field.
Right. It's actually hard.
Like we say, the star never shows up. Finding Bigfoot, the star never shows up.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. When he does, he's camera shy. So.
Yeah. So you better enjoy the other 99% of the time. Otherwise you're going to be in for a bad time, just like when you're at jobs and stuff like that. And
exactly. You got to get out there and
stuff. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So what kind of encounters have you guys personally had before this, and since Kriptovania? What kind of stuff have you guys been witness to? And
Well, one of my, I'm going to take this one real quick.
Okay.
I do run at the mouth a little bit. As a part of this, I've been exposed to the history and the local history and evidence of giants, and it's been, to me, it's been I've really enjoyed that. And a lot of it has been looking up and finding data and stuff, but also going and visiting mounds and finding around here. We have within a couple of miles of us, it was the first oil wells were drilled. Colonel Drake's well is just, I think, 6 miles from my house here. And there's a creek here that called Oil Creek, and it was called Oil Creek before Drake drilled his well, and there was deposits of oil on top, like a skim, like a scum that could be collected. And around here, there's still physical evidence of what used to be thousands and thousands of pits that were approximately like 6 by 10 in size and lined with halved timbers, and they were made in these backwaters, and they collected oil in these pits, and the oil saturated the wood so much that are in these pits that they've lasted even for these centuries since they've been used. But unfortunately, you can't date the wood either because it's saturated with petroleum, which is a fantastic preservative. And there's still evidence of these, and you can find anecdotal evidence and historical evidence where they talk about thousands of these wood-lined pits, ostensibly to collect oil. And it's always been assumed that the Indians did it, and that the Seneca here dug those and supposedly used it for oil for their hair. But there's two problems with that story. It's a heck of a lot of industry just for something very cosmetic like oil for hair. I mean, these are holes. These are dug, and there's thousands of them. And then even the process of having the timbers, they're round logs that have been cut in half lengthwise, and then they line it, and they're still around here. And then also the Seneca themselves, they have no stories of it. They have no stories of creating those pits. And that's a lot of industry not to have any stories. It was just kind of one of those things that all of the Indians did it. And they're kind of like, well, I don't know about that. They really don't have any stories about it. But what they do have is stories of giants that used to be here. As a matter of fact, this is the Allegheny Basin, and the word Allegheny traces back to the Delaware, their name for giants, a tribe of giants that used to roam this area. So the Allegheny River is actually named after giants. And we have a lot of burial mounds around here. Within a half mile of Kriptovania HQ at Tommy Cooper's house is an old burial mound that locals talk about the Smithsonian coming and taking stuff and letting everybody look at it for a day and then spiriting it off and never hear word of it again. Nobody knows exactly what they pulled out of these mounds, but these mounds are dotted all over our landscape here. And some of them are claimed by the Seneca, and some of them are just in farmers' fields. This one that's near Kriptovania HQ actually has a Civil War era graveyard atop of it that from our culture. So you've got a mixture of cultures there, where you have our graveyard on top of probably a giant graveyard. And there's still areas here where you can see oil coming to the surface. Our friend Harry took me this spring, and he told me about this oil pit that he found that was about 3 foot around, and it was a bright green oil. And he says, I think I can take you and find it. I'm like, all right, let's go try it. And somehow he found in a pretty wild, remote area this pit again, and it had green oil in it. And it's just this is a weird area in that sense, in the melding of those things. So that's really been like, that's my Bigfoot. There is the giants. And I love that subject. And so I basically have had an anecdotal encounter with giants as a part of this. I've seen some evidence that he took on some night vision we call the Lamy Ridge Peaker, where he peeks out. It's like, oh, and but that's my encounter as we've done this.
Well, that's fantastic stuff, because there's a lot of historical stuff of the giants and native stories of this, and so who knows how much unknown stuff we haven't found in the ground.
And if you recall the stereotypical thing about Indians go how and putting their hand up.
Yes, they were checking for the 6 digits.
Yes, yeah, and those are just those kind of stories, and that's really, I love that stuff.
It's
and lo and behold, this area right here might have been an outpost for. We've theorized that maybe they were collecting oil for lamps. And if you've ever read about the serpent mounds over, I think in Ohio, they have found lamps that predate any of the stories that we have of people being here, and that's kind of where we lean towards things, and we have so much local evidence right here that sometimes me and the wife would just have an extra hour. Let's go down to Miller Farm, and Miller Farm happens to be one of the places where I found like these pits and such. So it's kind of a passion.
Yeah. So what about you, Tommy? What kind of stuff have I know you've encountered? What kind of got you started in all this?
It's been an enchanted life. I've been everywhere there is to be. I mean, I've seen Dogman, I've seen Sasquatch, I've seen UFOs. I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen the shimmer. The only thing I haven't seen is the rake. So I've had all these experiences with all these different things, and I've had the good fortune of talking to people that had their own experiences too. It's just awesome. There's so many stories that it's hard to even start.
What about your very first encounter with the unknown cryptid, and then
the Dogman?
Let's go through that. What happened there?
I saw the Dogman. It was pretty uneventful, but I was riding down the road with my mom and my dad, and I was going down the road, and I looked over at the side of the window, and there it was. It was a Dogman, and it was running beside us, and it was probably going, 45 miles an hour, keeping up with the car. And I was like, Dad, what is it? And I started saying what it was, and it was gone. Like, it was boom, boom, it was gone. But that was pretty uneventful, I guess. But so many of the other things were eventful. Like, I was screamed at as a young guy walking in the woods at night. I had I saw one when I was sled riding as a kid. All these things, like it wasn't that. I was telling Trost that, like, it just happened to me, and it happened, and it just it made me realize that it was it's an enchanted life, man.
Mm-hmm. Now, like when you saw the one as a kid, you said sled riding. You kind of just like, there's a big hairy creature right there, right? And
yeah, and it was standing there. It was like still as still, and I didn't even tell anybody about it. And and I just went on about my life, man. I took off down the hill, and I went, and I didn't go back, and that was that. And I don't know.
This is not the Bigfoot you were looking for.
Yeah.
Like Jedi mind trick type of thing, and you wonder about that, because so many people, when they have encounters, they talk about turning around or leaving, and you're like, why? And they why did you leave? Why didn't you say anything? And I think just like with his example there, you really don't know why you didn't say anything, or
maybe you were scared.
Yeah. Right. Is it that you were scared, or is there a suggestion that they do? Like an interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not. Go back to sleep. This is a cow.
Yeah.
And so you wonder about those things, and when you take them by themselves in singular, you're just like, well, that's probably nothing. That probably, But when so many people have that same kind of experience, where they say, I just left. I don't know why. It's kind of it's very interesting, and you also wonder if maybe, like Jedi mind tricks, are they hiding things right out in the open, and leaving us little nuggets of information that, a couple years from now, what seems like a fantastical science fiction thing.
It's been all through my life too, because it's like any time from the time I was a small kid until the Lamy Ridge Peaker we got on the video, like a couple of years ago. I mean, all this stuff again and again and again, and it's so often it happens because I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
It's like some people say, you can be marked, and then they can find you every time
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Must be something to it, because
yeah.
I don't know. It seems weird, but there's a lot of people saying the same thing. You as one, and me as another, and other people who just go through life experiencing different paranormal, cryptid things, and then how do we explain it? I don't know. We just go out there and things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's when you take these incidences individually, they're very easy to tear apart, and it's very easy to do it to yourself too. Oh, that was just, or I'm just being, or but it's so widespread, and what's the reward for BSing? You look cool to the Kriptovania guys. What kind of reward is that? And like, one of the things that Tommy has an advantage of is he's been doing this for a very long time, and he's also has his own garage that has kind of turned into like a barber shop, in the sense that people will stop and BS, and will come in and tell their stories. And he's been hearing these stories at this one location for well over 20 years. And that's why when I say, we're embraced by the community, that you probably how many, maybe 1,000 encounter tales have been told in the,
pretty close, man. Pretty close.
And it's very interesting. And one of the things about like scientific investigation, and it has a very negative approach, and you can tear down these encounters one by one, and you do it individually, and it knocks them out. And we're very much a fan of taking a more positive approach to research. And even at the mistake or at the risk of accepting false evidence, you've got to look at all of it. And when somebody gives you a tale, I mean, yes, there's a chance that it could be a complete BS, or there's a chance that they're mistaken. But how many times have we had good, solid stories that we've dismissed because there's a chance, you know?
Sure.
And you've got to take all of these. And if there's all these thousands and thousands of people that are mistaken, that's a phenomenon in itself, you know. And so it's really, you've got to take a positive approach, I think. And I think that if you take a more positive approach, you're going to get more answers. And
it's like one of my customers. He was here and he was describing to me his Dogman encounter in daytime, a Dogman encounter. He said he was driving down the road just up the road from me. He said something went across the road, and I was like, "What was it?" I don't know. It was big. Okay. Was it big, and did it have, like, I was describing the Bigfoot to him. No. It was a Dogman. And this guy, he didn't know beans about the Dogman, and he saw the Dogman walking across the road in front of him. This guy's a salt of the earth kind of guy. Like, I know he wasn't lying to me. I know he wasn't. I've known him my whole life. And I know it was a Dogman. And that was the first of many Dogmen that was located here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got an area that's a real hot spot for those kind of crossings and such. Like I'm thinking if you wrote them all down, you might be talking dozens.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely scores. And very similar. The hair and the flesh is different, more muscular, more like a Rottweiler type thing compared to, or to say, like a wolf hair and such. And there's even been a little bit of red shirt or flannels involved and stuff, or like red clothing in some of these.
Which we sound like an idiot saying that, but yet it's true. It's true. I mean, it's just there. It happened.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that, Blake?
Oh, the flannels and stuff?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
With the Dogman, no, I don't think so. But with Sasquatch, yes, clothing being found around Sasquatch places and them taking clothing and doing stuff. Yeah, there's actually a lot of reports that we have of them messing with clothing, folding it up, putting it in trees. I believe one Sasquatch was reporting wearing animal skins as clothing.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's kind of an interesting facet.
That's a first for me.
I got a question for you, but you said a lot of Dogman run in front of vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what happened to me. I had my encounter of one, and it did that. I ran on all fours, and then it got in the field and stood up and ran. Very natural looking wolf that stood up and ran like a human. So, do you think they like running in front of cars? Because in my case, it chose to run in front of the car. It didn't need to run in front of the car. It just did it on purpose.
I think they do. I think they do is like they're shown like a form of dominance. Like they're like, they can do this and you can't stop them.
It was definitely a show of physical prowess in my case, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe like counting coup. Maybe
exactly.
Or like when you hear about kids like daring each other to cross in front of a train or something like that.
Like that.
It's hard to say, but it does seem like it's a very common sighting. It's a road crossing. It's about 6-7 seconds long, and it's so many that are the exact same story. Yeah.
And
for us, the main where it seems to happen a lot is about 3 miles down the road from his garage, and it's incredible how many people have encountered that, or within a couple miles. We there are a couple of girls that we grew up with had almost wrecked and had an encounter, and but you can't get them to say nothing, or do it on camera or something.
And it's amazing, like, how many people have told us. Like, I mean, I think more people have told us than haven't told us. I mean, they come right to the garage and they know that we're the believers and we really want to hear about it. Like the last reporting I had was from a week ago, and it was a guy mowing his grass. It was like probably 20 minutes away from here. A guy was mowing his grass, and he's down in the country and all this and that. And he went out back and he saw a Sasquatch out there. And he doesn't have any reason to lie about it also. I mean, this guy's, he's right up there in age and stuff, and he's not going to lie about it. And he doesn't even know what we have going on and what's going to happen, this and that. He just knows that we like Bigfoot. So he told us what happened to him.
And we still charged him for the work, too.
There's a lot of witnesses who are professional lawyers, judges, cops, and very respectable people in society that all of a sudden when they start speaking Bigfoot, well, they're crazy now, and that's just not how it should be.
Yep.
And that's why a lot of witnesses are afraid, because they do get ridiculed, even if they are more respectable in society's eyes. So that's fantastic. You have a place for that.
I think that's loosening up, though, some. I think just in the time that I've been in it, I've seen a loosening of the inhibitions and also it seems like even in mainstream, it just seems like it has much more acceptance. And the same with like UFOs and stuff. Where like maybe 5-6 years ago, if you said that there were some weird Tic Tac things, and you might be kind of nutty. Now weird Tic Tac things. I mean, whatever. That they're not telling us everything. What used to be the realm of the conspiracy theorist, it's very mainstream. There was a Bigfoot festival that we got to be a part of about right in midsummer, and it was in Marionville, and it was their first time ever for this festival, and it was fantastic. They did a fantastic job, and there were so many people that came, and there were so many vendors, and there were thousands and thousands of people that were just coming and checking out Bigfoot stuff, and that wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. It wouldn't have happened even 5 years ago. And now it's something, and it's not just commercial success. I think commercial success is a symptom of the acceptance that people have of the paranormal, and maybe it's just that people no longer accept that we've been told the truth all the time.
Could be.
And just go look at us too. Here we are, a couple guys that have a Roku station, and like, we are viable. We're viable, and we know all these people, and we entertain all these people. It's something else, man. It's a good time to be alive.
Yes,
it is.
And there's the story cycles are so short now. And it's you see it in the other world, the real world type stuff, with all the politics and real life and stuff. But you also see it in Bigfoot and stuff. The news cycles are shortening, and like quantum Bigfoot theories, which used to be kind of whispered about, now are much more commonplace. And I look at quantum stuff as the marriage between flesh and blood and the woo, because I've always believed that there were very woo aspects. I go very, very hard to the woo, but I think that there's scientific explanations for a lot of that we don't understand. And I think it's always been there. I think just like you have native stories of sprites and Bigfoots and other things that would show themselves to some people but not others. You know, they've been doing this for a long time, and I don't think it's just that they hide. And I don't think that they're all just magic. I think that there's technology and sciences that we don't understand. But I think that we soon will. I personally feel like this is a fantastic time to be alive, because I do feel like we're working towards fantastic disclosures. And I think that there's great things at play. And maybe I'm wrong, but at the same time, I think that certain things like, you know, maybe free energy and finding out that we're cousins with people from other galaxies and such. It's not so crazy to think that maybe tomorrow we wake up and on the lawn of every capital in the world is a UFO saying, "Hey, this is a family reunion." You know, might be surprised, but not like shocked.
Right? They having UFO disclosure with the military and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they dropped some stuff that disclosed a little bit, but not enough. But it seems like they're itching forward with that side of things. I wonder if Sasquatch is next, or if it's even more top secret than UFOs. Wouldn't that be something? Well, why do you think the big secrecy is for Sasquatch?
Man, I don't know. I even asked John McAfee this. I was like, "Who's doing this to us?" And he couldn't even answer me.
Mm-hmm. I think that what you're looking at, and the reason maybe that there's gatekeepers is we're not. I don't think that we're just looking at like some kind of remnant bipedal that's roaming the woods. All right, it's there. You busted us. I think that it's going in and out interdimensionally, and I don't think it's alone. I think that this is a commonplace practice, this interdimensional travel coming in and out, and I think it has been for a long time. And so I think that a lot of the things that we have been taught, very core things, are wrong. And you know, maybe things like evolution and stuff are complete garbage, and this might be the proof of that. And so, you know, much like with the other world stuff, the stakes are very high, especially if you go past Bigfoot's just a very smart monkey that's very good at keeping hidden. If you go past that, the stakes get the farther down the rabbit hole you go, the higher the stakes are, you know, and who's had knowledge and who's been keeping knowledge and what else have you been keeping from us, you know. So maybe it's the tip of the iceberg, you know. And go ahead, Tommy.
And here's one thing I would say with like, we have a sighting of a guy we have a sighting of the 69 heavyweight, and like it's 10 foot tall. It's 10 foot tall that this guy saw. Well, he told me in confidence, he said it was actually 12 foot tall. This is in an 8,000 acre piece of woods, granted, but still, where is that thing hiding? Where is it going to hide being 12 foot tall? It doesn't make any sense. There's got to be more to it than a monkey. It's way more than a monkey.
It would seem like they're putting a lot of effort into hiding just a monkey.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, any other animal, I mean, people would be able to find the intelligence level is definitely greater than any animal or monkey on the land. But, you know, you get into, like, if there are people, do they have, say, treaties with the U.S. government about, you know, things they can and cannot do? And, you know, tribal people have treaties with the governments all around the world. Why wouldn't that be different?
Yeah. And, you know, so the stakes are pretty high.
Stakes would be very high. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole plethora of what is really going on, and then it opens the floodgate of if that's real, what else is real? What's all these other cryptid sightings, UFOs? What's under the oceans? What's all these lake monsters about? And is
What's
there
under the
hollow
airport in
earth
Denver?
going on? I mean,
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
there's
What's under the airport in Denver?
yeah,
see, there's so much things for Kriptovania to get into. So much material there.
it is.
One of
It's
my
fascinating
stories
stuff.
is one of my favorite stories, and it kind of comes back a little bit to it's kind of to me kind of native in nature is Gozer the Destructor in the Ghostbusters movie, and he tells them he says you get to choose the instrument of your destruction, and everybody clears their mind, but one person ends up with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that's going to be the destroyer of the world. So maybe we choose ourselves who and what we encounter. That's a possibility too. It maybe for Tommy Cooper, it needs to be a little hairier, and maybe for me, it needs to be a little gray, have gray skin. And maybe we choose that. And maybe they were hiding the truth right there in the right out in the open. And that's really what Kriptovania is about, is maybe having fun with
Yeah. And
if
we have
we're wrong,
we have
it's
room
okay.
for all these opinions. We have room for all these opinions in Kriptovania too, because there is no politics. It's just opinion. It's just opinion.
Yep.
Well, and everyone, we're all chasing a creature that doesn't supposedly exist and that's doing all this other stuff. So it's all opinions and theories that, unfortunately, have not been proven right or wrong, because we don't have any really good evidence to show either or enough of it anyway. So
yeah, you don't have that slam dunk one. But at the same time, and we're not afraid to be wrong either. And if we turn out that we were wrong the whole time, and it's it's just a monkey. I was kind of shooting for more than that. I was hoping for that. That's right. I'm not the best. Yeah. It's like one of my favorite stories about Tommy Cooper was when when the Y2K was getting ready to start, and that was the big event on the horizon. The world's going to end with Y2K, and there was nobody that prepped for that harder than Tommy Cooper. And then when nothing happened, he said it was a little depressing,
I said to Jason, I was like, I didn't have any purpose for my life.
I remember that my dad bought bullets and just in case, because it was just like stuff was happening and the computers weren't rolling over or whatever, and people got scared.
Yeah, so we had, that's something that we really embrace. Don't be afraid of being wrong. Don't be it's like so often even in our daily life, people are afraid to be a fool, to be seen as a fool. And like one of the biggest things, one of the biggest insults to somebody is to fool them. And if you fool us, you fooled a couple of garage heads Northwest Pennsylvania. And we're not afraid to be wrong. And if once you get over a fear of things like that, it makes things kind of fun. But at the same time, we also do have some friends, and including in Kriptovania, and content producers that are very flesh and blood, that think that we're up a tree. But they also have some very good explanations of things. Jonathan Lackey is one of my favorite researchers, and a guest on a couple of our things. And he introduced us to the Heiligenschein, which is the effect of light traveling through hollow guard hairs and refracting and creating a shimmer. And he has some videos where he demonstrates this with some hollow guard hairs. Like polar bears have these hollow guard hairs. They're actually black underneath, but the light refracts and you never see their black skin. And he can show you on film the light passing through and creating like a laser effect. And he says, this is why you guys can't get good pictures, these kind of things. Linda Godfrey has talked about, like them maybe having an electric charge in their hair so that it vibrates and stuff. You know, a very non-magical explanation for blob squatch type things.
Right.
And so we do have some friends in Kriptovania that are very flesh and blood and are, you know, this is just a remnant monkey, and you guys are up a tree, but you guys are all right too.
Yeah, and yeah.
Well, you got to have you know, if you're so stuck on one opinion, not open-minded, at least, you know, you don't want to be wrong. Like we were saying, people don't like to be wrong, and I think it's best to have an open mind. That's what we have here at the Lost Cryptids. We don't lean heavy one way or another. We just have an open mind, have experienced the woo side of in the same areas as Sasquatch. Not saying Sasquatch did it, but we have definitely seen orbs and UFOs in the same spots as Sasquatch. So we keep an open mind if it could be something else, but I think we should document it. And it's a piece of a puzzle that might fit in our puzzle of Bigfoot, might fit in a different one, but I'll pay attention.
Now, when you get into the woo side of things, you know, what exactly does the orb say about Bigfoot? You know, like, how does that translate into the Bigfoot and all that stuff? And that right there is that's the kind of thing you go against your Jonathan Lackeys with.
Yeah. You know, and you know, the orbs are kind of an interesting thing. Are they in the same spot? Are they related to? Is it coincidental? Is it that they're both drawn to the same area? You know, they're weird. You know, and I'm not just talking to the ones that you catch on film and stuff. A lot of times there's weird glowing lights in the woods that look like what's it called when you weld something? There's the slag. The slag from welding. You know, it's like it's out there, and you can't. You know, when you try to capture that with cameras and stuff, it just looks like a flare type thing. You know, but what is it? You know, what is it? And is it at all related to Bigfoot? Because you're right. It seems like they're often hand in hand.
Yeah,
as far as we know, the same areas. Some of the areas we've been to, we have definitely seen orbs and have filmed orbs. Actually got one on film. We'll be releasing shortly, and it blinks. You know, me and a former member are seeing it, looking at it, and it's blinking, and we're trying to capture it on the cameras. It's not picking up, but in one frame, it picks up on the GoPro, of all things, at nighttime. And you know, GoPros don't work at night at all. And it actually picked it up on the GoPro, so it is actually pretty bright to be picked up on a GoPro at nighttime. So,
and that kind of,
we had activity after that in the next couple of nights, same area. So I don't know.
We've kind of toyed with that with the photography and stuff, you know, like, you know, with blob squatch stuff and flares and orbs. It seems like maybe the best way to get good evidence is to trick your machinery or your whatever you're using, like if you're using cameras and stuff, and especially when they have automatic settings and such, to kind of trick it to take a better picture, or to, you know, because a lot of times when a camera is trying to do its job, it's focusing maybe on the light area that's in the frame and trying to figure out how to make that stand out. But what it does then is it detracts from the white areas, you know, and maybe you can trick your machinery to go a little bit against its instincts. And you can a little bit, like instead of automatic shutter and automatic light balance, you know, you try to set it for a specific range. I know if we're doing 60 frames a second, we do 1/120. I think it is, or whatever. And you know, so you try to get it so where it's not going to auto adjust and auto focus on every little thing that's moving, and try to get one solid thing. And so if something does happen, you know, sometimes, you know, weird stuff happens and you can't explain it. Files get corrupted, and
I think I've tried to film something that was basically invisible. It wasn't picking up on the camera, and I couldn't see it, but I could hear it walking and following me out of the woods. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
technology is wondrous, but it doesn't pick everything up from my experience.
Yeah.
100%.
We know something about that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. And we're coming up on the end of the hour, and we're gonna have to get you guys back on because I know we'll just fill up another hour, easy peasy. But what's some of the future stuff you guys are doing for the rest of this year, and what's next year's plans for you guys?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason's been really going after the channel. He's been really going programming it, and he's been doing a really good job. And I think that what we're going to do is we're just going to continue with the channel, and we're just going to keep trying to make it better and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've been really focusing on with our Roku channel. We built up a library of about 600 selections on there that are all on demand. And what we're working on now and have launched and for a few weeks now is a streaming section where we schedule everything. And you just get in the driver's seat and we take you along for a ride in Kriptovania with both our content, the content that others have shared with us. Everything on Kriptovania is by permission. And so that's a real big focus of ours is trying to get that streaming section to catch on. And we've got a couple of projects that we've kind of started to dust off for fall and winter, including our Nebraska Bridge more than a bridge project. We've been slowly building volumes on this little bridge that has captured our imagination and the imagination of a lot of people around here. And we're just kind of plugging away, trying to make content and basically that's what we're doing is plugging away. We don't really have a major project right now on the horizon, and that may change in any time. But at this point, we're kind of cruising along.
Sounds
as soon as this COVID's over with, then we can get some people to travel.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting ready to do a podcast with Jeremiah Fountain, who was your guest last night.
Yes. Yeah.
Next, we're going to do a special on brain injuries. And Jeremiah has had brain injuries. Tommy Cooper has. His producer Sean Wilson has had experiences with this, and that's going to be we're pretty excited about that. That's coming up next week, and that will be that's a project that's very near and dear to our heart there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know. I think I've heard Jeremiah talk about it. Is it more accessible? Do they notice it, or what? All sorts of things going on with these creatures that it raises more questions than answers. It seems like when you put something into the environment, then they get a reaction, and it's like you try to figure out what is it, this, and is it certain people? Is it certain things that happen to people? Is it, we don't know. So fantastic stuff, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like great stuff. And now everyone check out Kriptovania on Roku, and with some other places that people can find you. I know you're on Facebook. Do you guys have YouTube? Where's all the places people can find you and contact you for their story? Anything else? We have
the Kriptovania Facebook is a very robust collection of both paranormal and country living and adventure, and also our local area here, Titusville, Pennsylvania. We also have the page for Kriptovania TV Roku that has a lot of our videos on there. We have full episodes that are on that Facebook page. We also have a Facebook page for the He Said, She Said, the Cryptid Show, which Tommy does with Stephanie Langer. Yep, and and that I produce. And that's got its own page. And then we have the on Roku. We have the Kriptovania, which will come up on any of your searches. And we also have some stuff on. There's a YouTube channel that you can find quite a few of our episodes on there.
Awesome stuff, guys. Well,
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and it's good to see fellow people and researchers bridging the gap between the community instead of dividing, building our walls, and like you said, people don't like to be wrong, and so they build up their walls, and they. But if you're wrong, then you're supposed to learn from it and improve upon yourself and your research, and I think that's the way to go, like you guys are trying to do.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with being wrong.
No, exactly. Well, we came up on our hour, guys, so we're going to be shutting it down. We'll definitely have to get these guys back on again, talk about more stories, and possibly have some panel discussion with other researchers. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. Would be awesome.
All right. Well, we'll have another probably live show this weekend. Probably no guests, by myself chilling, hanging out, maybe with some other members of Lost Cryptids, and we'll take some questions, have fun in the live chat, and have another great time. So thank you again for my awesome guests, Tomer Cooper and Jason Trost, for coming on this show. I really appreciate it. And I want to have everyone check out their content, get on their Facebook groups, and support these guys because they're doing great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you again here in a couple days. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you very much. Have you.